What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing top 5 AFC sleeper teams for the 2017 through 2018 NFL season. And tomorrow will be the NFC side. So this is in no particular order for these teams. I'm just going in a random order. So we'll start off for the first team. That's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars have been a sleeper team for the past 3 years or so. They just haven't been able to get it done. That's partly due to the fact of Blake Bortles' play. He's probably been the worst quarterback of the 2014 NFL draft, and he was the first chosen, third overall. That's among active NFL quarterbacks. I'm not going to include Johnny Manziel. So if you don't include Johnny Manziel, definitely Blake Bortles is the worst of active starting quarterbacks from the 2014 NFL draft. You even got players that probably would have done better than him in his shoes in the second round. Talking about players like Derek Carr, who is highest paid football player right now. And then you've got Jimmy Garoppolo as well, who probably would have done better in Blake Bortles' shoes. So the fact that he was chosen third overall is pretty embarrassing by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But enough with the negative. We're thinking about the positive. We're thinking about them being a sleeper team in the playoffs, to make the playoffs. I'm telling you, if he plays right with the other people around him, he's got a squad around him. They addressed the offensive line with adding Brendan Albert, who is a serviceable tackle in the NFL, and then they drafted Cam Robinson in the second round. Now they just got to see where they got to put him at. You've got running backs. They just drafted Leonard Fournette, who is probably one of the best running backs to come out of the draft since Adrian Peterson in 2007. And then they've got three good wide receivers in the Allen brothers, Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns. And then you've got D.D. Westbrook, who they drafted in the fourth round. And their defense isn't as bad as well. Their defense is actually pretty good, actually above average. They ranked very well statistically last year. They just haven't been able to hold down teams because of the bad offensive play. And they even got better, adding players like Calais Campbell, adding players like A.J. Bouye and Barry Church. So this team just got better defensively. Let's hope their offense picks it up, and especially with their new pieces, and finally make the playoffs and finally do something, because this team had a stacked roster for years. They just haven't been able to get it done. Miami Dolphins, I know they made the playoffs last year, but I'll still add them as a sleeper this year, just because, a lot of people are going to think their playoff run was an anomaly, and that could be the case, but I think they can make it again. Think about it. I mean, that team is also another team that's stacked right now. Like, defensively, it's serviceable. It's all right. Their defense isn't anything special. It can hold down teams, but it can still get blown out sometimes. And then they got their offense, who is actually a potentially scary offense. Ryan Tannehill, say what you want about him. I know he isn't the best quarterback. He's, probably top 15 at best. He's probably an average quarterback. But he did lead that team basically to the playoffs last year. He did get hurt in before the playoffs, but he did lead that team to a winning record. And I just think that Ryan Tannehill, if he plays right, same thing with Blake Bortles, if he plays right, he's got pieces around him. Jay Ajayi to hand the ball off to, and then you've got Kenny Stills and Jarvis Landry to throw to. So it all depends on how his play is. I believe his defense could lead them to the playoffs. I believe he can do it as long as he works with the other players around him. The Miami Dolphins could definitely make the playoffs next year. They just got to find a way to get a wild card spot, because there's no way that the Miami Dolphins are taking the New England Patriots' chances to win the AFC East. It's just not going to happen for quite a long time. But that's all they've got to do. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. This team has just been hit with the injury bug every year for the past couple of years. Their team could make the playoffs. They've done it before with probably the same exact team. Los Angeles Chargers aren't really big on, what used to be the San Diego Chargers aren't really big on free agents. So they kind of just deal with the pieces they have, and they still make the playoffs. They still do good. But sometimes they do bad because of the injury bug. They have a bad record one season and make the playoffs the other. It's really Jekyll and Hyde with that team. They lost Eric Weddle last year. You can see how that showed up, showed up on the field. But, Eric Weddle, probably one of the best safeties to live, but that shouldn't hold them back. Phillip Rivers throws for like 5,000 yards every year. You've got Keenan Allen. When he's healthy, he's a complete monster on the field. I think if Keenan Allen gets hurt, you've got your 7th overall pick in Mike Williams, who you drafted. On top of that, you got Melvin Gordon, who's playing better and better every year. Had an all-right rookie season, but he's really picked it up last season. Hopefully he gets even better this season and carries the load for Phillip Rivers. Hopefully Phillip Rivers won't have to throw the ball as much. So you've got the Los Angeles Chargers, who is another sleeper team. And then you've got the Tennessee Titans, who, in my opinion, can probably make it pretty far in the playoffs and may even compete with New England for a Super Bowl.
You serious?
I don't know if that they may be stretching it just a tad bit, because I know this team is very inexperienced as far as the playoffs go. You've got a lot of young players. The Tennessee Titans are one of the youngest teams in the NFL right now. They're also one of the most healthiest teams in the NFL. Not very much injuries coming from the Tennessee Titans, so you can depend on your starters to be there every single week and perform every single week. So that's another great thing. The best ability is availability, so that's one trait or perk that the Tennessee Titans have, is definitely not being hit with the injury bug. And then you've got a pretty good defense who you're starting to form together. You've got Logan Ryan, and he's going to be coming in as your number 1 cornerback. We'll see how he does. Don't know if he's going to be, a top-tier corner playing at number 1, but we'll see how he does. You got Adoree Jackson, who I have very mixed feelings on. I don't really like him as much, but he should attribute some kind of benefit to the special teams game as far as punt return and kick return, so we'll see what happens there. You could ask MJ from Sports Fan Entertainment how great he feels about Adoree Jackson, but and then you've got on the offensive side, your offense is just dynamic. At this point, it's potentially going to be a top 5 offense. You got Marcus Mariota, who I think keeps rising as a quarterback in the NFL, competing with Jameis Winston, who's going to be that better quarterback coming from that draft class. And Marcus Mariota, they're going up and down, both of them. But Marcus Mariota, he is the reason why I watched the Tennessee Titans play. I really had no interest before. I started watching Marcus Mariota, and the way he plays is always action-packed. I love the way he throws the ball. I love his decision-making and things like that. So definitely Marcus Mariota is really growing as a quarterback. He has some great pieces around him. Even in the running game, he's got 2 good running backs, bruising running backs, in DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. Just hand the ball off to them. Or you can throw the ball to your new true number 1 receiver, Corey Davis or Tajay Sharp, or your new wide receiver, Taywan Taylor, I believe, who's another slot receiver. And you even added another wide receiver in Eric Decker, who is definitely going to play very well as a number 2, a number 3, or a number 2 wide receiver. So, or maybe even number 4. That's if they put Taywan Taylor ahead of him. So as far as the receiving core goes, they went from all the way to the bottom, like having Rashard Matthews, I believe, as their number 1, all the way to having Corey Davis as their number 1, and a bunch of good wide receivers at the end. So their receiving core really got flipped upside down, and definitely you're looking at one of this team to potentially be a Super Bowl team. I can't believe I'm saying that about the Tennessee Titans, but they could be a Super Bowl team. Moving on, the last team I have on this list is maybe pretty controversial, but I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns, just because this team just can't be bad forever. This team can't be bad. They can't be cursed with just being a bad team forever as long as their franchise lives, for the rest of their franchise, life. They have to be good at some point, and they did all right in the draft. They actually did pretty well as far as in the beginning of the draft. I really liked what they did. Even at the end of the draft, they got a guy like Zane Gonzalez, the kicker. He's another great kicking prospect that in the draft, and they were able to pick him up. They got Caleb Brantley in the 6th round, who was sort of a steal. He has some problems. They might let him go. And in the 1st round, they had 3 picks in the 1st round. They had Myles Garrett, defensive end, number 1 overall pick, a great prospect. This guy's probably going to have over 10 sacks in his rookie year. Then you got Jabril Peppers, who I don't know where they're going to put him at. I believe it's going to be at strong safety. I had mixed feelings about Jabril Peppers. I didn't believe he was worth a first round pick. Yeah, then they got David Njoku at the tight end. They released Gary Barnidge, which I have no clue why. Probably contract issues. I don't know. But they released Gary Barnidge after having a 1,000-yard season. They're hoping that David Njoku does the same thing. David Njoku, a very athletic tight end, who I think is going to be a good weapon for the Cleveland Browns. And then in the 2nd round, they got Deshaun Kaiser. A lot of people are saying Deshaun Kaiser is going to be a career backup, but you never know what he's going to put out on the field. The college football is way different from the NFL. Any player could pick it up towards the end. You got players like Derek Carr. I think he was the 4th quarterback taken. I believe he's a 4th quarterback taken in that draft. He wound up being the best out of all of them. So we'll see what happens. Will he be better than all the other quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of him? Will he beat Brock Osweiler for that starting spot? We'll see. So that's my top 5 sleeper teams for the AFC. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you guys think is another sleeper team to make the playoffs? NFC teams come out tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next video.